Good morning. You have raised a few questions about this withdrawal of 2000 rupee notes from circulation. Let me at the outset clarify and let me sort of re-emphasize that it's a part of the currency management operations of the Reserve Bank. According to Section 27 of the RBI Act, the Reserve Bank is required to not issue notes which are excessively soiled, defaced or damaged. Under that section, for a long time, the Reserve Bank has been following what is called a clean note policy. Therefore, from time to time, Reserve Bank withdraws currency notes of particular series and issues fresh notes. And also, as a part of the normal banking operations also through the banks, as you know that when the notes get soiled, it is returned and fresh notes are issued. A somewhat similar exercise was undertaken in 2013-14, whereby, the notes which were printed prior to 2005, they were withdrawn from public circulation, and the public was advised that you can come and exchange the notes. So this time, we are therefore withdrawing it from circulation, these 2000 rupee notes, but they continue as legal tender. We have clearly explained in our press note that these 2000 notes were primarily issued for the purpose of quickly replenishing the value of money which was being taken out from the system when the the then prevailing 1000 rupee notes and 500 rupee notes were what is called when their legal tender status were withdrawn. So that time the 2000 rupee notes were introduced with a specific purpose, with a primary purpose, let me say, with a primary purpose to put back that much value into the system. And a decision was taken to adopt 2000 rupee notes because if you do, currencies of lower denominations, in the same amount of time required for printing with the same paper, with the same capacity of printing, you could have only printed lower value of currency. So 2000 means higher value of currency was printed and supplied. So it was introduced with the primary purpose of replenishing the currency which had been declared, currency in the context of the 2016 November measure which was undertaken by the government at that time. That purpose has been fulfilled. Today there are enough notes in circulation of other denominations. Even the circulation of 2000 rupee notes, as we have explained, has come down from its peak of 6,73,000 crores to about 3,62,000 crores. So it's come down by more than 50%. By about 50%, and the printing also has been stopped, and the notes have also completed their life cycle because all these notes were printed about 5 years ago. So in this background, as a part of our clean note policy, it has been withdrawn. So my advice is to please see it as a part of the currency management operations of the Reserve Bank. Let me put it, clearly, and that is the primary purpose which we have followed. You have also raised questions about why time is given up to 30th September. You see, unless you give a particular time, unless you specify a particular time, the process will not reach a stage of finality. And you have to give a time so that the announcement is taken with the seriousness. It is taken seriously and people come and exchange their notes. The banks have been advised. We have issued further circulars yesterday to the banks to make necessary arrangements, including arrangements to ensure that the people do not stand under the hot sun in this peak summer, to make arrangements for drinking water. But I do not expect the kind of a rush in the bank branches. Through you, I would like to appeal to all the viewers. There is no reason to sort of rush to the bank. Take your time. 4 महीने की समय दी गई है. आप आराम से 4 महीने के अंदर जब भी आपको सूटेबल होता है, आप नोट एक्सचेंज करिए. ऐसा नहीं कि आप तुरंत आज ही जाए, कल ही जाए. आज कल से शुरू हो रहा है. ये नहीं कि आप तुरंत बैंक में जाके रश करें और इसको करें. आराम से करिए. टेक योर टाइम, 4 महीने है, बाई September 30th प्लीज एक्सचेंज इट, and time is given up to September 30th so that it is taken seriously, because otherwise if you leave it open-ended, then it becomes a kind of a endless process. You have also raised the question after 30th September, yes. What? Now we expect most of the notes to come back. That is our expectation at this stage. We will see how much notes come back, and as we approach 30th, we will decide, at that stage. And the legal tender character, we have said that it continues. We have not said that, this will happen or that will happen. Through you, let me assure all of you, let me assure every viewer, let me assure also the readers of the print media, and also let me assure, so many people, Indians who are living abroad, or who have gone on a foreign trip for a long foreign trip. There are elderly people who visit their children in the United States or other countries for 6 months and all. There are many Indian youngsters with H-1B visa who are working in the US and other places. There are many Indians who live abroad. Through you, let me assure the people who are abroad, the people who are now in the foreign countries, and let me assure people who are within India, कि जो भी कठिनाइयां आप फेस करते हैं, we will be sensitive to that. Whatever difficulties or whatever representations we come across, it will be our endeavor to address the difficulties of the people and to complete the entire process in a smooth manner. So इसीलिए चिंता की कोई कारण नहीं है, आप आराम से एक्सचेंज करिए नोट. आपका जितना कोई भी कंप्लेंट हो, कोई भी डिफिकल्टी कठिनाइयां हो, हम बैंकों के थ्रू या डायरेक्टली हम तो उसको मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं. जितना इस टाइप का प्रॉब्लम आएगा उसको हम एड्रेस करेंगे.
30 सितंबर के बाद सितंबर वाली बात हिंदी में बता दीजिए सर. 30 सितंबर वाली बात आप हिंदी में बता दीजिए सर.
नहीं आप सर देखिए मैं आता हूँ. नहीं सुनिए आप 1 by 1 करिए ना. मैं
पहले आप एक बार स्टेट दैट इट विल नॉट बी बैड. सर एक मिनट सर, आप हिंदी में सितंबर 30 की बात कर रहे हैं. लीगल टेंडर रहेगा.
नहीं मैंने सुन लिया, आपका क्वेश्चन सुन लिया, मैं अभी उत्तर देता हूँ, लेकिन एक एक करके पूछिए ना. अगर 4 लोग पूछेंगे तो मैं स्टेटमेंट जो आपने सितंबर 30 के बाद क्या होगा लोगों को, देखिए September 30th का एक हमने टाइम इसीलिए स्पेसिफाई किया है ताकि हमने जो ये अनाउंसमेंट किया है उसको सीरियसली लिया जाए. आप किसी भी एक्सरसाइज में, किसी भी प्रोसेस में अगर आप एक डेट नहीं देते हैं तो और उसको ओपन एंडेड ऐसे ही खुला छोड़ देते हैं तो सीरियसली नहीं लिया जाता है. इसीलिए हमने ये डेट दिया है कि 30 सितंबर तक आप रिटर्न करिए. 4 महीने की समय है, कोई जल्दबाजी की जरूरत नहीं है. आराम से आपको जब भी टाइम हो, आप नेक्स्ट 4 सितंबर 30 तक आप आराम से आके उसको एक्सचेंज करिए या अमाउंट अपने अकाउंट में, खाता में डिपॉजिट कर दीजिए. तो इसीलिए चिंता की कोई कारण नहीं है. और जितना डिफिकल्टीज हो या जितना रिप्रेजेंटेशंस हो, मतलब जैसे कि मैंने कहा कुछ लोग फॉरेन कंट्रीज में रहते हैं, कुछ लोग फॉरेन ट्रैवल पे गए हैं, उन सब का जितने कठिनाइयां हैं, जितना डिफिकल्टीज है, वो हम सब स्टडी करके उसके कुछ हल निकालेंगे जरूर. ये मेरा आश्वासन है और मैं सबको अश्योर करना चाहता हूं कि कोई मतलब कंसर्न की बात नहीं है. आरबीआई के जो करेंसी मैनेजमेंट ऑपरेशंस है, ये इसका एक हिस्सा है.
अगर 3,62,000 करोड़ रुपए 30 सितंबर,
देखिए मैं तो देखिए मैंने आप एक रुक रहिए. अब 5 क्वेश्चन का तो एक ही आया. लक्ष्मण प्लीज. Look, I will answer each and every question. Sir, I will start here. I will go round. So therefore, please have patience.
Sir, अगर सवाल ये है कि एक तरफ आप कह रहे हैं करेंसी सर्कुलेशन से विड्रॉ कर रहे हैं, दूसरी तरफ आप कह रहे हैं कि लीगल टेंडर रहेगा. लोग ये कह रहे हैं कि जब सर्कुलेशन से विड्रॉ कर रहे हैं हम उससे खरीदारी कर नहीं सकते, तो लीगल टेंडर रहने का मतलब क्या होगा?
Can I just add to that, sir?
नहीं, खरीदारी क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं? No, but then others will. Yes, please.
Just adding, so what is happening, sir, is that...
No, I have read the newspapers. हम भी न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ते हैं, हम भी टेलीविजन देखते हैं. आप ऐसे रुकिए आप. अब दुकानों में अगर कोई एक्सेप्ट, वैसे मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं, पहले से भी कई छोटे छोटे दुकान में 2,000 के रुपया के नोट एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते थे. ये कोई नई बात नहीं. कल से शायद बढ़ गया है कुछ. पहले भी मैंने खुद एक्सपीरियंस किया है. मेरे जानकारी के जितने लोग हैं उनका भी यही एक्सपीरियंस है। वो जब 2000 रुपए की नोट लेके जाते हैं कोई फ्रूट शॉप, कोई ठेले वाले के पास, कोई छोटे दुकान, वो कहता है कि सर मेरे पास चेंज नहीं है, आप ऐसा करिए, आप वो इसमें QR कोड में वो डिजिटली पेमेंट कर दीजिए ना, यहाँ पे लगी हुई है QR कोड, आप मोबाइल निकालिए, पेमेंट कर दीजिए। तो ये जो है एक रिलक्टेंस था 2000 रुपया नोट को मतलब एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए दुकानों में, ये पहले से था, कोई नई बात नहीं। कल के बाद शायद बढ़ गया है, मैंने पेपर भी देखा कुछ रिपोर्ट्स, लेकिन मैं तो नोटिफिकेशन में हमने कहा है इट कंटिन्यूज एज लीगल टेंडर, हमने तो कहीं पे नहीं कहा, उसके आगे तो और कुछ नहीं कहा। और मैंने ये कहा कि हमारा एक्सपेक्टेशन ये है कि 30 सितंबर के अंदर जो है मैक्सिमम क्वांटिटी ऑफ नोट्स वापस आ जाएंगे। हम देखेंगे उस वक्त, वी विल सी एंड वी विल टेक इट, we will decide. No, one question per person.
Sir, my question is that post 30th September, will this continue to be a legal tender? If yes, then till when?
वही क्वेश्चन आप पूछ रहे हैं, it's the same question. We have said that it continues as legal tender. We will wait how much notes are coming. I cannot give a speculative answer कि 30th सितंबर के बाद क्या होगा। हमने तो ऐसा नहीं कहा कि भाई लीगल टेंडर जो है वो सिर्फ 30th सितंबर तक है, ऐसा तो नहीं कहा है। Yes, one question.
One criticism that is coming is, sir, that if you return the notes and if there is no identification attached to it, the whole purpose of knowing how much of it was black money, from where it is coming, that won't be.
नहीं, देखिए हमने ये कहा है बैंकों में करेंसी नोट्स एक्सचेंज करना हो या अकाउंट में डिपॉजिट करना हो, कैश में, कैश टू कैश आप एक्सचेंज कर रहे हैं या कोई भी कैश ट्रांजैक्शन अगर बैंक में करेंगे, उसका एक सेट प्रोसीजर है, एक सेट रिक्वायरमेंट्स, सेट गाइडलाइंस है। हमने ये कहा है जो एग्जिस्टिंग मैकेनिज्म है आपका, जो एग्जिस्टिंग प्रोसीजर है, आप उसको फॉलो करिए। हमने कोई एडिशनल प्रोसीजर नहीं लगाया है। जो एग्जिस्टिंग प्रोसीजर है, जो यूजुअल प्रोसीजर है बैंक में कैश डिपॉजिट का या कोई अदर कैश ट्रांजैक्शन, आप मान लीजिए आप जा रहे हैं एक कैश पेमेंट करके एक डीडी खरीद रहे हैं या कैश डिपॉजिट एक्सेसिवली आप कर रहे हैं, मतलब जैसे कि 50,000 इनकम टैक्स रूल एक है, आपको पता होगा, 50,000 के ऊपर अगर आप कोई कैश ट्रांजैक्शन करेंगे तो आपको पैन कार्ड डिटेल्स प्रोड्यूस करना पड़ेगा। तो जो एग्जिस्टिंग रूल है वो तो अप्लाई करेंगे। या देयर वाज वन क्वेश्चन हियर।
So Mr. Arun Jaitley at the time of demonetization, when 2000 was coming in, had said that this is a stopgap arrangement because a high denomination like rupees 2000, there always will be problems of integrity of a currency of that, because of that currency. Is it still a belief in the RBI and the government that high denominations should technically be avoided?
You see, man, just as I explained, these notes were primarily issued to replenish the currency, what you call remonetization. That purpose has been fulfilled. Now, what you say, what you have just pointed out is right. I mean, when you have our high value notes, these 2000 rupee notes or even 500 rupee notes, so far, their security features have not been breached, not been compromised. Market में the so-called fake currency which you are seeing, most of it is actually sophisticated photocopying. Security features of these high-value currency notes have not been breached. But I mean, in any system there are always efforts. Most of the efforts, it was seen earlier, they take place outside the country to breach the security features and to sort of inject fake currency into the system. So a high value note is always prone to, it always is susceptible or vulnerable to efforts on the part of fraudsters to try and clone. So that is a fact, I mean. But this time around, our decision is mainly driven by a need to ensure clean note policy. Please.
Is it close to the 2014 exercise in which the old notes of 2005 were withdrawn? Is it a similar exercise?
It's a similar exercise. You have said that.
So will the large cash deposits be the part of the scrutiny of the RBI as well, or will there be any cash limit to that when people will go and
देखिए RBI तो कोई scrutinize नहीं करता है, बाकी जो एजेंसीज है इनकम टैक्स वगैरह हो वो तो अपना नॉर्मल प्रोसीजर फॉलो करेंगे। जैसे मैंने कहा कि वो 50,000 के ऊपर कोई अगर टैक्स होता है तो वो तो अदर एजेंसीज के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है वो क्या करते हैं। लेकिन आरबीआई के तरफ से हम ऐसे मतलब किसने कैश ये किया, हम आरबीआई के तरफ से नहीं उसको नहीं करते हैं। जैसे आपको पता होगा बैंकों का एक रिपोर्टिंग सिस्टम है जिसको सीटीआर एसटीआर वगैरह कहते हैं, आपको सबको पता है, वो तो मॉनिटर करते हैं।
Sir, there are reports that some bank ATMs still have 2,000 rupee note. So are banks being asked to withdraw those?
देखिए बैंकों में most of the banks, because the demand was not in the market, the demand was not for 2,000 rupee notes. So taking into account the demand in the market, demand from customers, most of the banks have modified most of their ATMs. Some places here and there they may be having 2,000 rupee notes still being given in the in the ATMs. The banks will have to modify that. Yeah.
So last time when the demonetization had happened, the proposal was moved by the government. So this time, and like we've discussed that earlier as well, this whole denomination was introduced to replenish the system. So was this also proposed by the government or this was RBI's?
नहीं, ये सब internal processes तो these are not valid questions in which the public is interested. These are procedural. मैं आता हूँ. Yeah, Sapna.
Sir, two questions. So you have explained in detail in your press release as well as in your quotes today that what's the intention behind the phasing out. But still some people, still this question arises in our mind, sir, that was this really required? Let me ask my question so that you can answer. Like, was this really required in the sense that when the circulation has already fallen from its peak of 37% to under 11%, people are not using it?
No, that's a view. I mean, I understand what you are saying. That's a viewpoint. No, that's a viewpoint. The question of timing can be raised at any point of time. Why did you do now? Why not later? If you do later, why are you doing now? Why not earlier? So timing is a matter of, I think it's not it's not really relevant. And with regard to the other part you said.
And secondly, sir, also, this question arises that with these kind of moves, maybe a kind of a question arises in people's minds that is our currency management system absolutely credible?
Indian currency management system is very robust. Our exchange rate is among the least volatile among our peer countries. vis-a-vis the dollar, normally we see the exchange rate against the dollar. अब डॉलर के हिसाब से देखेंगे तो रुपये का जो exchange rate है, it has remained stable despite the crisis of, crisis in the international financial markets created due to the war in Ukraine, the failure of certain banks in advanced economies. Indian currency system, Indian exchange system, that is exchange of our currency, the exchange rate, market exchange rate of our currency is very stable. Indian currency management is very robust, and I just pointed out that the security features of this new Mahatma Gandhi series notes have not been breached. So the integrity of our currencies continue. Yeah.
Sir, I have a question. You will be sucking out large number of 2,000 rupee notes. So are you also injecting new 500 and other denomination notes in the system so that,
to make up for the 10%?
No, it will depend on the demand of the people. That is, some of it will get deposited into bank accounts. Some of it will be exchanged. So what is exchanged across the counter, it goes back immediately. What is deposited in the bank accounts depends on the account holders and the customers. If they want to withdraw, they will withdraw. So, just a sec. So if they want to withdraw, they will withdraw. And so far as liquidity in the system is concerned, the RBI monitors the liquidity in the system, whether it is tight or it is loose. Last week we undertook, not for this purpose, but last week you would have seen, we have undertaken a variable rate repo auction of rupees 50,000 crores. It was a variable rate repo auction. We got bids for 46,400 crores, and that was given to the banking system. The RBI on a day-to-day basis monitors the liquidity in the system and we respond to it. एक मिनट. Yeah.
सर जैसे कि आपने बोला है कि
रिपीट मत करिए
ना कोई रिपीटेशन नहीं सर. 3,62,000 करोड़ रुपए जो 2000 के नोट के फॉर्म में हो, सर्कुलेशन में है. क्या आपको लगता है कि 30 सितंबर तक ये सारा पैसा जो है सिस्टम में वापस आ जाएगा सर? और
no, मैंने तो कहा कि हमारा एक्सपेक्टेशन ये है कि मोस्ट ऑफ दिस नोट्स विल कम बैक. ये
सर अगर ये नहीं आया सितंबर तक तो क्या ये दिसंबर
इसका भी मैंने जवाब दे चुका हूं कि देखिए अभी तो शुरू नहीं हुआ एक्सचेंज, कल से शुरू होगा. हमारा एक्सपेक्टेशन है कि वापस आ जाएंगे, तो उस वक्त देखेंगे ना. सॉरी Let me listen to the question. Yeah, I'll listen. Look, yeah. Tell me, please.
Yeah. So of this, on the liquidity issue, even if it is 10-11% of the total cash, so in your estimates, sir, how much would you need to print of additional 500 or 100 notes? You know, because even if it's 10%, it's not a small amount.
Let me assure you, we have more than adequate quantity of notes available, already printed. We have more than adequate quantity of printed notes already available in the system, not just with the RBI, but also at the currency chests which are operated by the banks. So there is adequate stocks available and there is no reason to worry whatsoever.
Sir.
We have sufficient stocks, more than sufficient stocks.
सर
I'll just come. Yeah.
सर 20,000 की आपने लिमिट रखी है सर. ये लिमिट तो 50,000 भी हो सकती थी क्योंकि पैन कार्ड की जरूरत आपको 50,000 से ऊपर रहती है. सेकेंडली सर जो आपने
इसे 20,000 आप देखिए 2014 में, मतलब उदाहरण के तौर पर मैं बताऊंगा कि 2014 में जनवरी में जो 13-14 में 2013-14 जो कि जनवरी 2014 में जो 5 पुराने नोट्स को एक्सचेंज करने था, उस टाइम भी था कि आप 10 पीसेस एक्सचेंज कर सकते हैं, 10 पीसेस. अभी भी 10 पीसेस किया है. 2000 इंटू 10 पीसेस 20,000 बनता है. तो एंड फॉर ईज ऑफ कन्वीनियंस ऑल्सो, मान लीजिए कोई बैंक में सडनली 4-5 लोग आ जाते हैं बहुत बिग कैश लेके, फिर वो बैंक का भी नॉर्मल ऑपरेशंस है, other customers are there, लेकिन currency notes are available in adequate quantity. चिंता ही कोई कारण नहीं.
So do you expect any sort of impact on banking system liquidity, like let's say less than demonetization, because like you said you have been adding liquidity,
no, we added liquidity only last week because the liquidity appeared to be
But the RBI has been in withdrawal of accommodation mode. So do you expect any sort of temporary?
No. The liquidity system will be managed. Last week we undertook variable rate repo auction of 50,000 crores because at the system level there was still about 1 lakh crore liquidity available at the system level. But certain entities, certain banks had more liquidity, certain banks were running short of liquidity. So our operation of repo operation last week was only to address the problems of such banks which did not have liquidity. I think 2 more questions, I will stop. No, please.
Sir, my question is there possibility to reintroduce rupees 1,000 notes?
देखिए वो स्पेकुलेटिव है अभी, प्लीज वो स्पेकुलेटिव क्वेश्चन है, अभी फिलहाल ऐसा कोई प्रपोजल नहीं है. ओके, या
the economy in general, and do you see a surge in purchases of gold and real estate?
देखिए परचेजेस ऑफ गोल्ड रियल एस्टेट के बारे में मैं कह नहीं सकता, वो पब्लिक के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. बट ये इकोनॉमी के ऊपर इसका इम्पैक्ट विल बी वेरी वेरी मार्जिनल. आई एम सेइंग वेरी मार्जिनल बिकॉज it's only 10.8% of the currency in circulation. And as you know, 2,000 rupee notes were not commonly used in any transactions. I have not seen, or in fact anecdotally, and we have done also some informal survey in various locations in India, we have found that hardly it is used for carrying out, hardly 2,000 rupee notes are used for carrying out transactions. So therefore economic activity will not be impacted. Thank you.
Will you bring 2,000 के नोट के
2,000 के नोट से सामान खरीद सकते हैं. सिर्फ इतना बोल दिए कि इस फैसले के बावजूद अब 2,000 के नोट से सामान खरीद सकते हैं, दुकानदार को एक्सेप्ट करना होगा अगर ऐसा होता तो लीगल टेंडर है. इतना बोल दीजिए.
देखिए 2,000 का नोट तो लीगल टेंडर है ही, हमने नोटिफिकेशन में कहा है. बिल्कुल साफ कहा है कि 2000 का नोट लीगल टेंडर है। बाकी जो खरीदता है, जो बेचता है, उनके बीच में कई समय ऐसा होता है कि कोई दुकानदार के पास मान लीजिए चेंज नहीं है, तो हम कैसे, इसी आपका प्रैक्टिकल भी आपको देखना पड़ेगा। लेकिन 2000 का नोट लीगल टेंडर है। एंड लेट मी वंस अगेन conclude by saying that whatever difficulties and concerns are there which people have, especially including the people who are at the moment living, staying in foreign countries, we will address all those concerns, and it will be our endeavor to ensure that the whole process is smooth and without any difficulty. Banks have been suitably advised to take necessary measures. Thank you very much for